Hi class, let's continue with our study of the simple past. This time we're going to check language in context. To start with, let's check some vocabulary. Study and practice the following expressions. Take a tour. Take a tour. Have a fantastic time. You can also say have a good time. Have a fantastic time. Amazing. Amazing. Explain. Explain. Carry. Carry. Stay in a hotel. Stay in a hotel. When you travel, you can stay in a hotel. You can stay in a big hotel, or you can stay in a small hotel. You can stay in a nice hotel. Finally, we'd like to go back. We'd like to go back. Now, let's check the same expressions but in context. Read this tour evaluation and answer the questions. Were the Johnsons generally happy with the tour? Were there any problems? Okay, what if you read and listen so we read together? World Tour Service. Please take a few minutes to write a short evaluation of your tour with us. This is what the Johnsons wrote. We took a tour to Ireland and we had a fantastic time. We especially liked Dublin. It's an amazing city. The tour guides explained everything very clearly, and they answered all of our questions. They knew a lot about Irish history. They were also very helpful and they carried our heavy bags for us. The hotel in Cork was a little uncomfortable, but in general we stayed in very nice hotels. We loved Ireland and would like to go back. What do you think? Were the Johnsons generally happy with the tour? Yes, they were. They had a fantastic time. And, as they said, they stayed in very nice hotels. Were there any problems? Well, they had a little problem with the hotel in Cork. It was a little uncomfortable, but in general, they had a fantastic time. Actually, they would like to go back. All right. Let's take a look at the verbs in these sentences. For example, took, had, liked, explained, answered, knew, were, carried, was, stayed, loved. These verbs are telling about the past. So these verbs are in past form. Alright, in your books you can complete this table with simple past tense forms. You can simply read the evaluation and exercise again, and then you can check your answers. So what you have to do is go back to the story, to the tour evaluation here, look at the verbs, find the verbs, and then copy the past forms. Are you ready to check? Okay. The past form of answer is answered. The past of carry is carried. The past of explain is explained. The past of like is liked. The past of love, loved. And the past of stay is stayed. As you can see in this group, they all finish in ed. There are some slight variations, but in general they finish in ed. These verbs are called regular verbs because we add ed to the base form of the verb. On the other hand, we also have irregular verbs. Irregular verbs have their own simple past form. Irregular verbs do not add ed. For example, the past of be is was or were. The past of eat is ate. The past of go is went. The past of have is had. The past of know is knew. The past of see is saw. And the past of take is took. Okay, so up to now, in these two exercises, we have seen that some verbs can be regular and some verbs can be irregular. Regular verbs add ed to the base form, and irregular verbs have their own form, so we have to memorize these forms. To study the spelling of regular verbs, I recommend you to watch the video on spelling rules for the ed ending of the simple past form of regular verbs. Okay? And to study irregular verbs, well, you should study the list of irregular verbs that you have on page 127 in your books. There's a complete list of the most common verbs in English. So one good routine could be to study 10 verbs every day, and then you can increase your knowledge of irregular verbs. For the moment, let's use these verbs in the following exercise. Okay, you can see this email. You must complete the email with the simple past of the verbs in parentheses. Okay, so what I recommend you to do is cover the words, cover the answers in the previous exercises, and then try to remember the past form of the words of the verbs in parentheses. Why don't you pause the video for a second, and when you finish, you can check the answers. Well, I suppose you have already completed the email with the past forms, so now let's check the answers. Hey Tracy, last week Susan and I went to the Grand Canyon in Arizona. It's incredible. The bus ride was tiring, but we were really happy when we arrived. We stayed at a small hotel near the canyon, and the first evening we watched the sunset over the canyon. The next day, we took a tour into the canyon. We saw lots of birds and animals, and the guide explained the geology of the canyon. We had a great time on the trip. Well, this is a short email, but it has a lot of regular and irregular verbs in simple past. You see, it's not very complicated. You can write your own email or your own letter and describe your last trip. And that's what you're going to do in exercise D. Talk about the last trip you took. You can start with, my family or friends and I went to, and the place, we stayed at, and it was, and so on. I'm going to include some questions here to help you get some ideas. If you answer these questions and then you put them in order, you organize them into paragraphs, you can have your own story about your last trip. Okay, here are the questions. Where did you go on your last vacation? How was it? Was it good? Was it terrible? Was it fantastic? How did you travel? Sorry, I missed the question mark. But how did you travel? By bus? By plane? By motorcycle? By car? Who did you travel with? Did you travel alone? Did you travel with your family? What places did you visit? And what did you do there? Who did you meet? Did you make new friends? What did you eat? Was the food delicious? And what did you drink? Did you like it? Where did you stay? Did you stay in a nice hotel? Was it expensive? Okay. Well, in this lesson, we have basically studied how to make affirmative sentences in simple past, right? So we studied the difference between regular verbs and irregular verbs, and we said that to make affirmative sentences in simple past you only need a subject, of course, and the verb in simple past, the subject and the verb in simple past. Remember, regular verbs add ed to the base form and irregular verbs have their own form, but all you need to make a sentence, an affirmative sentence in simple past, is the subject and the verb in the simple past. Well, please practice, do your exercises in your student book, then do the corresponding exercises in your workbook, and I will see you in the next lesson. Good luck.